Global happenings today. We communicate, we analyze global news. Stay tuned.
Hello, beautiful people. Welcome back to Global Happenings to the YouTube channel. It looks like the reawakening in the continent of Africa is giving what we call mental reset, factory reset from our African leaders. Top of the list is the Rwandan president, who have decided to make a press release. In the moment, we're going to find out what he's doing, not only to protect his country, but also to ensure that nothing sinister happens to his seat. And in the same vein, the Nigerian military have also decided not to let anything untoward to that effect in Nigeria. In fact, they are insisting that coup plotters must not be found in their midst. And this is the release also they made. As it is, pressure is mounting, and the presidency does not want to take anything to chance. Before we go into the newspaper, kindly subscribe to our channel by clicking on the red subscribe button. Beside it, you see a bell notification icon. Please go ahead, click on it to get notified as soon as we update our channel on YouTube. Let's start with what's happening in Rwanda very quickly. In fact, in Kigali. Now, this is RDF press release retirement of some of the in the Rwandan Defense Force, and took place a few hours ago. It said His Excellency the President of the Republic of Rwanda and Commander-in-Chief of the RDF, which is the Rwandan Defense Force, have actually has approved the retirement of the following generals. The name James Kabariba, General Fred Iberigera, Lieutenant General Charles Kayaga, Lieutenant General Frank Omoshigo. In fact, the president has also approved the retirement of 83 senior officials, 86 senior non-commissioned officers, 6 junior officers, 678 end of contract retirement, and in all of this we are looking at 924 military officials, 160 soldiers who were discharged on medical grounds. Baba does not want to hear stories that touch. Now, back home in Nigeria, this is a warning signal coming from the Nigerian army, who is sending strong warnings to soldiers plotting to overthrow Tinubu's government. Now, according to the news, the Nigerian army has sent a note of warning to soldiers that may be plotting to overthrow President Bola Tinubu's government in a coup. The general officer commanding GOC 81 Division Nigerian Army and a Major General Mohammed Takuti Usman gave the charge on Wednesday, August 30th, warning that Nigerian armed forces would not condone any form of disloyalty. Now, speaking while addressing soldiers at the 35 Artillery Brigade Alamala, Abeokuta, Ogun State, Usman stated that their loyalty must be to the president first, and then down the ladder to the Chief of Defense Staff, then to Chief of Army Staff, then to their brigade commander. Now, the army chief warned that there is no room for any form of disloyalty within the Nigerian military, and those who can't be loyal are free to resign for other works. Now, it was also learned that the warning came amid the military coup spreading across African nations, with Gabon being the latest that took place on Wednesday. Now, flanked by Commander 35 Artillery Brigadier General Mohammed Tajuddin Aminu, Major General Usman said, while the military authorities know there are challenges, they are not peculiar to the brigade command, and efforts are in top gear to tackle them. Now, the officer charged the soldiers to always display discipline, loyalty, and top professionalism. Now, the GOC commissioned a quarter guard project at the barracks during his visit, noting that Nigeria wouldn't be a safe place if there were no soldiers in the country. Well said, sir. If it's me too, I'll feel the vibes, because the way the thing is going, I don't understand Nigeria. Latest on the list is that of Gabon, judging the fact that they just concluded the election on Saturday, and barely a week after, barely even 6 days after, a coup took place. all in the name of that the election was not free, was not credible, was not fair, and that the person in question had been ruling for over 50 years. And it's like it's a dynasty. They hand from my generation to my next generation. I became some sort of dynasty, some sort of, is this democracy or some sort of tyranny or wearing democracy but autocracy in practice, and all that. And the people were like, this, we've had it up to our neck level, we're not going to take it. If you watch, even when the military coup took place, there seemed to be jubilation in the streets. And we are still trying to, in Africa, in the continent of Africa and the south, the Western African region, as ECOWAS. We're trying to see how we can, convince the president and the chairman of ECOWAS, Bola Tinubu. We're trying to see how they can convince the Niger coup plotters to see how they can return back to democratic rule. If need be, they're insisting that this Niger military that took over are insisting that they take about 3 years for them to return back to civilian rule, to do the necessary transition and all that, which was not acceptable by ECOWAS. They're still trying to battle that. Then Gabon, Central Africa decided to do their own. And it's as if it's a wave of some sort. And, that quickly reminds me what Jonathan, former president of Nigeria, did warn the politicians about the wave that is taking place, that they should please, that we are now in the era where information are no longer hidden, informations are free to get, and they should really be very careful in all honesty, because a time will come, the people will begin to look at what truly is governance, and they want to take the benefit of it. Of course, Nigerians have decided to react to this. It's really normal for the military to send that note of warning, because at some point, some persons will start thinking that Gisbon, as in they want to form Hokomania, they want to do super story, to show that, okay, this can be done. And, Nigeria, honestly, God forbid. The truth of the matter is, we are too big, 200 million Nigerians. Above that, over 200 million Nigerians. It's not something we shouldn't even think towards that effect, please. Whoever does, look, it's only young generation people that be asking for any coup. I'm telling you the truth. Military era is not being so. Those who were born during the military era will tell you there are a lot of freedoms you enjoy in democracy. You can never enjoy it in military. No matter how some people are calling it, whether you call it oligarchy or you call it autocracy, at least it has some level of freedom that you enjoy. There's no much thing as freedom of speech per se in military era. A lot of journalists went on exile during the time we were in military era. A whole lot. So it's not something that anybody would wish for or pray for. You can still come, we have critics who can always criticize the ruling party. You can form opposition who will be criticizing the ruling party to get the dividend of democracy. It's not like that in military. It's not like that in military. So if you don't know what military era is, please. At the beginning, they look as if it's the best thing that ever happened to a country. Wait till they stay for a while, and absolute power, they say, corrupt absolutely. When the military ever takes place, there's nothing like Senate and the rest. Everything is the military, everything. And once that absolute power gets in there, it's difficult to let go, because they're also human. And that's why you must always say kudos to people like Abdul Salam, who during their transition as a military person still did the Nigerians the good honors of making sure that democracy was enacted. But let's quickly let's go wrap.